Now, let's go. We had a very good workout on the field. I enjoyed it, and I think that you guys had learned quite a bit. So now let's go into the second half. The second half is that the first half was that we got the corner read from into the extended neutral zone from zone. Now, how do the safeties read from 11 to 12 yards off? Well, the first thing we have to understand that the linebackers all sit in the National Football League traditionally heels at 5, toes at 4. They sit into the extended neutral zone. So how would the safety get his read and not be influenced by the quarterback's eyes? Because we do not want the quarterback to be able to influence the safeties, because if that should happen, now we know that the safety's feet will be tied up or locked, and it's very hard for the safety to get over the top in cover 3 or into the space in cover 2. So we know that the safety's numbers are the same as the corners and linebackers across the board. Those numbers are 1 and 2 and 3, run. 1 and 2 and 3, pass. And what are we looking for as a corner? Again, we're looking for a different color or an interior lineman. Gentlemen, just one interior lineman into the extended neutral zone. Why are we looking for him to show up over the nose tackle's heels? Because now we know that's a true lineman. It's not a tight end. It's not a running back. It's not a slot. Now, back to the safeties. What we want to do as safeties is we want to make sure that we have our eyes on the deepest linebacker, who is what? Not assigned to blitz within the first 3 seconds of true football movement after the snap. So we put our eyes right on the linebacker. And the first thing we say to ourselves is set, go, 1 and 2 and 3. Set, go, 1 and 2 and 3. Run, 1 and 2 and 3, pass. Now, how do we determine that or decipher that? We decipher that because there is no interior lineman blocking on the backer. If there's no interior lineman blocking on the backer that sits the deepest, heels at 5, toes at 4, now we know to pedal and cover. Now we know to pedal and cover into our zone. If there is an interior lineman fighting with that backer, now we come to the football and honor the defensive playbook. Now we must honor the defensive playbook at all times that the defensive coordinator wrote in. How do you not get sent home from camp or released? Is honoring the defensive playbook. All right, now we're talking MU calls, in which some of you know as banjo. In my system, we call this MU. Outside most defensive back sits in the me lane. The inside defensive back sits in the U lane, and the outside backer sits in the ball lane. So it's me, you, ball. What happens when the team comes out, the offense comes out of the huddle, the first thing that we want to say to each other is the outside guy looks at the inside guy. And if there's no inside guy, it looks at the backer and hollers, me, 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 me. And the backer says, you, 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 you. Or the slot or the nickel says, you, 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 you. Then the corner turns and looks back at the safety and says the same thing, which the safety looks back at him and says the you call. Then the safety looks to the cover 2 safety and says me, 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 me. And he says you, 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 you. What we are establishing the lane that we want to play in. We are establishing the lane that we want to play in. So we do not get caught in the pick or the rub, because now we're going to honor what our lanes that we play in, and we're going to stay true to who? The defensive playbook that the defensive coordinator wrote in his defensive plan. Now, how do we cover the receiver coming off the ball? The first thing you have to understand, we do not read the receiver from the waist up. Even though that some of you have been taught this your whole defensive back life. If this happens, now you're forced to cover a whole solid. So what we're covering is from the tie-up of the pants to the responsibility leg called for in the what? In the defensive playbook. In the defensive playbook. So, if we're on the inside eye, cover 3 to the football, now we want to read the inside leg only. When the outside leg moves, the first thing we say to ourselves is don't cover. Yes, cover. Inside leg, outside leg, don't cover. Inside leg, yes, cover. Outside leg, don't cover. So our thing to us is set go. Yes, cover. Don't cover. Yes, cover. Don't cover. So the whole way up until he breaks our cushion. Once he breaks our cushion, we go straight to the ear hole. And we run the route with the ear hole. If the ear runs the out and up, we run the out and up. If the ear runs the comeback, we run the comeback. If the ear runs the stop, we run the stop. We run whatever the closest ear is to us, looking in the ear. And your coaches know just how to teach it. What we do is we take the receiver, we put the receiver beside the defensive back. And now we ask the receiver to trot. And when he trots, we look right in his ear and we do everything, we mirror the ear. And we get used to that, and then we run it faster and faster and faster. We break his cushion, we go straight to the ear. Coming at me, we are low eyes on the one leg coverage. The higher, the closer we are to the receiver, the more disadvantaged the defensive back is, because the receiver also creates the illusion in the 3-second play action window, just like the quarterback. The receiver with covering the receiver with high eyes, the defensive back is at a disadvantage because he is subject to everything that the receiver wants to show him that is false. All right? Okay, that's the second half. We'll get back with you again on the third half.